Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Jim Hodson with Lanyy Parcell out here at Prop Wash in Justin, Texas at Cowtown Aerocrafters, and we're going to do an update on the Bird Dog today. And Lanny's going to give us a walk around, and then we're going to do an engine run. So, Lanny, over to you.
Okay. Hello, everybody. So, as you can see, she's all in one piece and all cowled up, and we've had a couple of successful engine runs. Had a couple of things that we discovered that needed to be adjusted and replaced, but we got her going now. It's got a new carburetor, new fuel pump, all new spark plugs.
Looks beautiful. Yeah. Just absolutely beautiful.
We got all the step back so Jim can pan the airplane. We got all the original antennas on it. There's a lot of ferret work going on there to find some of these old parts, you know, because most of the time when these things came out of the military, the first thing the civilians did was take all that stuff off, what they considered junk, and threw it away. So
Mike James says hi, by the way.
Oh, hey, Mike. So some of the antennas were hard to come by, but it's got all the original antennas like it would have flown in Vietnam.
Okay, but we're not hooking those up to radios,
no,
right? Yeah.
They're basically just for historical purposes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got civilian antennas on it, but they're really pretty subdued, so you really can't even see them.
So this side is the red marker, which was the original O-1 forward air controllers in Southeast Asia, but I noticed we've got an addition onto the wing.
Yeah.
Underneath the wing.
Yeah, we've got the hard point, they call it. That's the mount, the pylon that the rack attaches to that holds the smoke rocket tubes on, and we'll go look at those in a little bit. We've got inert smoke rocket rails that we're going to put on it, so it'll.
Okay, and we're going to put two per side. Is that the idea? Because that's the normal configuration that we've seen.
Right.
Okay.
So it'll have two rocket tubes hanging off of this one pylon.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
That'll be perfect. So we want to walk around, show them the other side. Now,
see the other side.
The other side of the airplane is representing Hilliard Wilbank's airplane, who was awarded a Medal of Honor for an action he did in a bird dog similar to this. His bird dog was crashed, but
it's got his tail number on it.
It's got his tail number. We're going to have to make sure we've got the real N number on it someplace too.
Yeah.
But Willard's story is pretty impressive. He was trying to help an NVA Ranger unit, or a South Vietnamese Ranger unit, and that were being attacked by the NVA, and he made multiple passes firing his M16 out the window. And the Ranger unit was managed to get away, but Hilly did not survive that engagement, and he was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for that action. Only one in the bird dog, I believe, at least the Air Force bird dog, to receive that honor.
Right.
So why don't you show them some more of this side?
Okay. So there again, you can kind of get a zoom in on this. This was the hardest antenna to find. It's a strange little thing. It's called an FM homing antenna. So I guess in Vietnam there wasn't much in the way of navigation aids, so they had to kind of bring their own. So they'd set up an FM radio and transmit, and then the guys could home off of that.
So that they were set out in the field someplace?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they'd move them around.
I know nothing about those other than that I've always thought they looked a little weird. The big whip?
FM whip antenna on it. And of course this side's going to have the rockets on it also. And then some of the viewers may not know what this is.
Oh, good idea.
The armament panel. So this is, the whole airplane, if you've noticed, is painted with a flat gray paint. That was typical. This is gloss white right here, and they had it set up where they'd write on it with a grease pencil. So the armorer, the guy on the ground that's in charge of putting the weapons on the airplane and hooking them up and making sure they work, he would write in this box what's on the airplane. So he'd have two Willie Pete's, white phosphorus, smoke rockets on the left side and something else on the right side, something like that. So he'd tell the pilot. That's how he communicated with the pilot on what was the armament that was on the airplane.
They did those on the OV-10s in a lot of airplanes, which is really a smart thing. We didn't do that in the Marine Corps, and I don't think the Navy did it either. But this is a really smart way to do it, so you know what's on there.
Right.
we got some more antennas on the fuselage here. We got the shark fin.
Yeah, that's the UHF VHF antenna.
Okay.
And this little low profile black one right here, that's a ADF Loop Antenna.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So in the older airplanes, like a C-47 or something like that, it was on a pedestal.
You see
like
an
a
actual
football.
loop. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, this one they sunk it down, so only the top half of the loop stuck up.
Do you think this was almost think this was an electronic countermeasures airplane?
Yeah.
With all the antennas
Yeah.
on it.
If you back up a little bit, you notice that the top of the wing is all white. And that was actually a field modification that they did once they were in theater, so to speak. So when they showed up in Vietnam, they were all gray. And on a hazy day in Vietnam, they blended in too well. So the fighters that were flying over, the mission of this airplane was to mark a target.
Right.
And the fighters would come in and drop ordnance on the smoke where he marked the target. Well, the fighters couldn't see the airplane, and they'd get a little nervous because there's a good guy down there someplace.
Yeah.
And that haze and that fog and stuff on the ground, the gray airplane blended in. So
There were some of them they actually painted on the wing, the FAC.
yeah,
You know,
so
that
they
type
came
of
along. Being that the red markers were kind of the earliest ones in the game.
Right.
They came out and painted them white on the top so that the fighters could see them from the air.
Well, we'll show them at another point in time, but there's an amazing visibility from this airplane.
Yeah.
You've got obviously you've got the glass over the top, and you can see the angle on the fuselage, which really gives you a pretty good look over the side of the airplane. So it's really amazing how good the visibility is.
Yeah.
So
you sit real high in the airplane too.
Yeah.
It's almost like being in a canopy.
So how many hours do you think you guys have got on this thing?
Whew.
You want to guess?
Oh, I'd probably say. I bet we're knocking at 2,000 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do we have left at this point?
At this point, it's avionics in the cockpit. It doesn't have any functioning comm radios or navigation radios.
Okay.
And there's in this area, in DFW area, means that we're under what they call the veil of DFW's Class B airspace.
Okay.
There's some rules that you have to have certain avionics. You got to have a transponder with an encoder that tells the radar operators, the air traffic controllers, here's where the airplane is, here's where it is, because it's got the N number on it. And then you also have to have ADS-B, which is a GPS-based kind of a transponder. It's an identification system.
Okay,
is what
right.
it really is. So it shows up. And ADS-B allows the controllers to see how fast you're going. Your N number is there, so they know who you are. So when you're talking to them on the radio and you say, hey, this is in November 9362 Quebec,
Right.
then they see it on the screen and go, okay, that's him. Positive radar contact.
Okay.
We know where you're at.
Good.
How
Okay.
high you are. So you got to have all of that. We don't have that installed in the airplane yet.
Well, I know you're gonna start the airplane up for people so that they can see that it actually runs.
Yeah.
Tell them a little bit about the engine.
The engine, well, it's a Continental air-cooled six-cylinder. It's called the O-470-11.
Okay.
Which is unique to the Bird Dog, I found out. That's the only airplane
really?
that ever ran a -11.
Okay.
Most of the O-470s were a little bit more powerful. This one, I think they actually detuned it a little bit for the mission.
Is that what the -11 was then?
-11, it doesn't have provisions for a controllable propeller, and all the other O-470s do.
Oh,
that's like
okay.
in the early Bonanzas
Okay.
and Avions and 182s and stuff like that. So this is a fixed pitch, solid propeller driven airplane.
Okay.
And it's got a pressure carburetor system, which we've talked about before, which is it's really over complex for what the airplane needs.
Okay. All right.
So it's got an electric fuel pump to get it started, and then it's got an engine driven fuel pump, and then a pressure carburetor, which means you have to have fuel pressure for the carburetor to even function.
Do you think that was because of a necessity where the airplanes were going to be or used, or why do you think they went to all of that?
I think it was a popular system at the time, because my Navion actually has the same fuel system in it.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more robust, I think, because you've got a backup, basically.
Okay.
You've got electric fuel pump. If your engine-driven fuel pump quits, then you can flip a switch and you got an electric fuel pump and it gets you back to
so it's some redundancy. Because these airplanes originally built in the early 50s during Korea as artillery spotters in observation airplanes. And I've always thought the story's kind of funny. The Air Force was given these during Korea and to evaluate them as a forward air control airplane.
Yeah.
And after only 2 weeks of evaluation, they decided that it was totally unsuited for the forward air control mission. So the first airplane they used when we get into Vietnam was the Bird Dog.
Yeah.
So I want to show people your hat here too. Presented these hats to Lanyy and his team here. These are official Bird Dog Association Old Dog Bird Dog hats, and these guys have definitely earned it, and we appreciate all the work they've done on this. So why don't we show them around the cockpit a little bit, and once it starts, I don't know if we're going to be able to hear much of anything, but the cockpit is not finished yet because we still have open glass.
Well, the windows are just open.
Oh, okay.
Windows,
I didn't even notice that. That's right.
You can open all 4 of the windows in flight, and these have a way to stow them. This window that I don't have on right now because it's kind of in the way, but it clips up.
That's right. It goes up out to the wing. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. One of the things that I learned real quick about it is it's tall.
Yeah, it is. You
got to climb up into it.
And there's no step up on it either, is there?
There's no step. Tom Swindle did some research and found that the factory actually built one with a step on it.
Okay.
That was for Eisenhower.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so he could get in it. Okay, so it's got pretty much a basic panel. The electrical system is all controlled right here.
Okay.
Tank rope. So it's got the battery master switch and the generator, few circuit breakers. It's a pretty simple electrical system. The throttle quadrant's on this side, so you fly with your right hand and run the throttle and the radios with your left hand.
Like an airliner.
Yeah.
And then you've got the battery between your feet down there, right?
Right.
Okay.
That's the battery. That pink box is the battery. It's a 24-volt system. So what we'll do is we'll put the mixture in rich position. That basically turns the carburetor on.
Okay.
Lets the fuel go to the carburetor.
And once this cranks up, we may not hear anything, but we're going to give it a try.
Yeah.
Okay.
We haven't done this before. So
No.
I mean,
we haven't tried to do this on the videos yet.
The brakes are on the top of the rotor pedal, so we got brakes on, master's on, fuel pump coming on, fuel pressure's up. Give it a little pump on the throttle. That's like stepping on the gas pedal a little bit. Clear prop.
I got out of the prop arc, we may be able to hear a little bit. But as you can hear, it cranked right up. These guys do such great work on these airplanes, and it's not just a job, it's a passion for them. And about all Lanyy said we've got left is we need to get some damn time in the airplane. ready to start to fly it. Sounds really nice, Lanyy. Sounds really nice.
All right. All the switches are off.
Okay.
Magnetos are off. Master's off. Boost pump is off. Okay.
Very good.
Hope
That's
you guys
excellent.
enjoyed that.
I'm sure they did. I did. I did. The only thing that's going to be better is when you get to fly it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So let's see if anybody's got any questions before we call it a day here. Let's see. Anybody got any questions of Lanyy or myself, or about the airplane or anything here? So you said we've got a little bit of tuning that maybe needs to be done on the engines.
Yeah.
On the engine. But other than that, it seems to be working okay. I know we had some real concerns about it initially as to whether it would even turn over and those kinds of things.
Yeah. Well, so far so good. So far, you know, I didn't run it up to full power right there because it just gets too loud.
Yeah.
And we're a little close to the building, but you know, I've had it out on the ramp and run it to full power. It's making static RPM. It's turning to about 2250 on the ground, which is
okay.
Which is, well, I think 2150 is the bottom, is the low end of it. So we've got enough power. I've had it up and down the runway a couple of times. Got it up to like 40 miles an hour.
Oh, Carrie says we need to share the T-shirt here.
Oh.
Let me get it. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's your Oshkosh T-shirt.
Yeah.
And let's see. Yours on there?
That's
Oh, there
my
you are.
airplane right there.
There you go. There's madness right there.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm going out to Reno this week. I'm looking forward to that. So.
Yeah.
So when this airplane is operational, what's the cruise speed going to be?
It's about 110.
Okay.
Yeah, about 110 miles an hour. I mean, it wasn't built to go fast. It was built to look around.
Right. Well, and in that case, what's the endurance going to be probably?
It's got about 3 hours worth of gas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So after that, you're ready to come home anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and what's it burn per hour?
It's going to be burning about 12 gallons an hour.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
All right. So I know the last thing we've talked about is how we're going to mark the airplanes with the names on it.
Right.
So I'm not going to share that with people, other than that we're going to do it the standard Air Force way, and it's going to be underneath the window.
Yeah.
And we'll have on the door, we'll have two different names here on the airplane, recognizing one of the red markers and Hilliard Wilbanks.
Right.
So other than that, you guys do an amazing job, and as I told people a little bit ago, this is not a job for you guys, it's a passion.
Yeah.
And your heart and soul goes into these things, and it really looks at it. I wish I give everybody the opportunity when we get a chance to get the airplane around to come out and see it, because the paint job is flawless, and you know, just the restoration has just been amazing to watch.
I think we forgot to mention that there's been a lot of little detail. It's got all the military stencils on it, and the placards.
Yeah, I don't think everybody saw that the last time we were out. So that's Carrie's coaching me here.
Okay.
And all the little detail is Jerry Asher's done a lot of that stuff on the airplane. So all of you done the research, and it's getting just a little bit noisy here, so we're going to call it a day here from Prop Wash with Lanyy Parcell, Jim Hodson here at Cowtown Aerocrafters. Hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you soon.